Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love reading about all the mistakes that are printed in church bulletins across the country. Here's a couple of good ones this morning. From an Iowa church, quote, "A potluck supper will be held Sunday at 5 p.m. Prayer and medication to follow." And here's one of the better ones out of a Texas church. "The church will host an evening of fine dining, super entertainment, and gracious hostility." Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Thursday. Good morning. And a good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Big fall tire sale going on right now. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Hey, Zeb. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow.
This is Randy at Les Schwab in Berlin. I figured I needed to call you because 72 short hours from now, my Seahawks have a terrible opener at Lambeau. Pretty tough, so I figured we could bet a steak dinner on the air here. So.
Okay, hold on a second. The fact is, folks out there in Radio Land, I owe this man probably not just a steak dinner, but the entire menu. I've lost every time to him. Randy, I'll go ahead and accept your bet, and this time, this fall, we've got to start paying up. Me in particular.
Okay. Sounds good.
God bless you, man. Thank you. Randy Wynn, one of my dear, dear friends, Les Schwab, and that, of course, right there on Overland in Burley, Tires West. Thank you so much. Holy cow, we've got a lot of things to do today. Wheels, I'm going to check in with you first. We did have a couple of line problems this morning. How are we coming through now?
We're sounding really good right now. You sound clear.
Okay.
No static, so we're good.
No static. That's what we shoot for every day on this program, no static. We create our own static, Wheels.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Hey, we've got a weather forecast to get into. I'm running late, man. Spur the horse a little bit. Here we go. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Roger and the crew. Rogering out, and they're there every day, by golly. At 7 o'clock in the morning, they open up the store. That's right. They've got all your tools and equipment, and they'll deliver and pick up your power tools and heavy equipment at your site. Wow. They are good. You better get a hold of them today. K&R Rental, and the number to call, 678-3122. Right now, here's the weather.
That air quality advisory still is in effect for today and probably through the beginning of next week, as we still are having some wildfires in our area. So if you have upper respiratory issues, limit your outdoor time. Looking at mostly sunny skies for today, high of 91, tonight low of 58. Tomorrow, still going to be smoky, and we're going to throw in some slight chances of afternoon thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, high of 88 with an overnight low of 58. As we get on into the weekend, that smoke is going to continue. Add into the mix maybe some rain and some thunderstorms for Saturday with a high of 83. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by K&R Rental. And they are also a Honda engine dealer, and all the parts you might need for wheel lines right there. Stop in and see Roger and the crew at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, number 678-3122. Merv May, let's sell some cattle. Come on in here.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.
That is the chant of the world's best auctioneer. I just love listening to Merv. You can understand him. You can follow the chant. You know where you're at on the price. I tell you what, that man is good. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy, all over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time this morning at 11 a.m. It is the sale that works for you. Number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. Here's kind of a partial list of what we know is going to go through the ring today. H.D. Dunn Ranch up at Tetonia bringing in a semi-load of butcher cows. Hey, C.L. Semper's up there working for him, I believe. And we've got butcher cows coming in from P-Bar S Dairy, Oak Valley Dairy, Acme Dairy, TLK Dairy, and we've got also 20 head of ripping good 700 to 800 pound steers coming in from West Goff. Good family over there by Rupert. And by the way, good morning to one of the nicest, sweetest ladies in the world, his mother, Rosa. Rosa Goff, God bless you, and hopefully we can get to see you. And don't forget, Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 11 o'clock this morning, sale time. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I sell them $1.35. Does that bell get the bottom again?
Oh, yes, but I'll take that price anytime. Hey, we've got a lot of things cooking here this morning. We've got, of course, at 9:06 the Chamber. At 9:16 approximately, we're going to have the Denny's Football Trivia Contest where you can win a build-it-yourself Grand Slam breakfast. And at 9:30, Rita Ramsey, normally on every Thursday. She's on a little vacation, well-deserved for this week. And I've got a real treat for everybody. A guy that I think is absolutely outstanding as a state senator, and that, of course, is Kelly Anthon is going to fill in. And at 10:10 this morning on Cassia County School Days, Rachel Jensen from Raft River High School. We've just got a whole plate of really good people coming on the program this morning. Let's see. I want to tell you a little bit while I'm waiting for your calls. It's never any good unless you call in. Deanne, what's the note? You can see the South Hills. Finally, all the smoke is starting to dissipate a little bit, huh? Little bit. We can see the South Hills. Yesterday, we couldn't see 250 yards. Hey, by the way, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, number to remember, 678-0459. They open the doors at 7:30 in the morning and stay open till 5 in the afternoon. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs right there. And they've been in business for over a half a century. Wow. I mean, that is really impressive when you look at businesses today. Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Really good folks. I want to also mention to you that this Saturday is a very special Saturday because it's going to have a very special sale. It's the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch production sale, and I absolutely want you to get up there and enjoy some of the fine, fine horses they've got for sale up there. It's a production sale, great colts and fillies, and it's going to start with the preview at 10 a.m. in the morning, sale at 11, and it's up at the ranch, 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley, easy to find, and I'm telling you, these horses are great. Great minds, conformation, abundance of color. You're going to love them, and you should, because these are the best of the quarter horse industry. Zollinger Quarter Horse Production Sale this Saturday. Preview 10, sale at 11. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. I have to tell you this, folks, up front. I'm a little cautious about certain stories that I put on my program in the morning. Sometimes I want to make sure that we have 110% validation. which is fine. I'm not going to put anything on the air that is not true. Secondly, I also look at the content, and I sometimes question whether or not the content is worthy of putting on the audience or putting in front of the audience, or if it's a story that might be here today, gone tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. This little blurb that I have next, I sat in quite a meditation for a long time as to whether I wanted to put it on the air, because it is one that will cause concern, it will cause worry, and I hope does not cause panic with a lot of people. So I decided I was going to go ahead and do it anyway, and because I think you need to know every insidious deed that is going on in the world, and especially here in the United States. We, and I mean we as the United States, have been informed that ISIS now is recruiting people in all the different local communities around the United States and also in Europe to go to grocery stores and, when no one's looking, inject cyanide into the food products. Again, I reiterate, I hesitated on whether to have this story on the air or not. It was on the national news. Excuse me for the cough. I'm still getting over a cold. It was on the national news early this morning twice. And my wife and I talked about it, and I thought, boy, I don't know. But then, on the other hand, you need to be aware of the vermin, literally, that are out there trying to kill, hurt, and destroy us, our culture, and our country. And I think that we need to be very cognizant, more so than ever before. We need to be more aware, more so than ever before, and we need to say something if we see something, more so than ever before. And I mean that. There are those that would sit back and say, oh, I don't want to say anything. Somebody might just be offended. I'm telling you, folks, we are past that very juvenile stage. Today, more than ever before, we need to be hypercritical of what's going on in our environment. It's a naive attitude, and very, quite frankly, dumb attitude, to think that those hideous crimes against us can't happen here. Yes, they can. And again, I reiterate, if you see something, say something. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call on the landline. I have stated many, many times, while I'm doing these commercials, I want somebody to call. I mean, everybody should be aware of what is going on. I have stated many times on this program, and I give credit where credit is due, that Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, I credit them with a lot of my success in coming back after the 2 surgeries I had. And I'll tell you what, for the ability to be back almost as good as I was prior, even at my older age, I absolutely credit them and that hydrotherapy pool. They're the only ones that have that kind of a pool in all of southern Idaho. I tell you what, they have the best of physical therapists. They know all the exercises. All you have to do is contact Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. 678-1191. They can and they will help you get back to being you. Want to remind you, too, oh, boy, coming up at 9:15, 9:16, right in that area this morning. Danny's Restaurant with the football trivia contest. Don't miss it. You might win a free breakfast. Don't forget Danny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. And another location of America's Diner, right there at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Oh, my goodness sakes, great breakfast. I mean, really good breakfast. Hungry? Oh, boy, that's the place to go. And all the burgers and all the other menu choices, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, anytime, all the time at America's Diner. They are really good, super nice people serving you at Denny's Restaurant. 611 North Overland and Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. You stop in and enjoy today. You know, it's amazing to me. I ask for the phone calls, and all of a sudden the lines are dead. You know, come on, wake up, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And another little news item this morning. And this one, I was absolutely shocked about. This one kind of put me on the back pockets of my Wranglers. Last night, I had just a few minutes to watch a little bit of some of the news programming. And I watched a couple of different network shows, and then I turned in to Tucker Carlson. By the way, I'm hearing a little crackle. Wheels, how is it over there?
The static came back, but it's right now it's not as bad as.
All right, let me know, and if it gets worse, I'll make another line change. Okay?
I will.
All right, thank you. Last night I was watching Tucker Carlson, and he had a couple of individuals on the program that were absolutely in favor of the retention of DACA, the Dreamer Act. And basically the keeping here in this country of 800,000 plus individuals that are here illegally. And towards the end of the conversation, the woman that was a representative of the left on the program was asked very poignantly, how many immigrants would you like to see coming to America? And when she said the answer, I mean, it just sent me back in my lazy boy. She said, oh, I wouldn't mind if 1 billion came here. 1 billion with a B. And then she made a asinine statement, it would make America stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm opening the door for you to call and respond to this. 1 billion people. We're at approximately, in round figures, 350 million right now. She wanted to have 1 billion come here. Can you imagine our country with the infrastructure, the food of trying to feed those folks? Where's the land going to come from? I mean, the water, the housing, the education. And see, these people on the left, they have no concept of reality. When she threw out this figure of 1 billion, and she said, well, just think how strong that would make America. It would bring America down to its knees in less than the status of a third world country. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, these people that talk like that woman is just out of their mind because they have no idea what it takes to shelter and everything this many people. What is she thinking of?
Well, they're not. They are nothing more than living in a fairy tale world of gimme, 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 I want. Everybody sit around a campfire, make chocolate s'mores, and sing Kumbaya. There is no reality in these people. They are basically dumb people.
Well, you know, this is true, and I have some sympathy for this DACA program because I see people who are 20 years old and they want to get an education and, you know, contribute to society. Those people, I think we ought to let stay. But here we have their parents who are not citizens. What do we do with them?
Yeah, but Keith, let me just draw the line. You're a little bit older than I am, okay? You know as well as I do, the country that starts to wrinkle and shred and tear apart their constitution and their laws is a country that soon is going to be fragmented and falls apart. You got to draw some lines in the sand, Keith. You've got to respect the laws of the country or you don't have a country.
That's true, and some people are going to suffer from this, but a lot of people are going to have to change their lifestyle.
And really, let me ask you this. If they came here illegally, why the bleeding heart? Why the absolute compassion? Why the down on your knees, tearing your hair out and beating your chest? They were illegal to come here in the first place, Keith.
Yeah, that's true. You know, you take like somebody who, let's just take a regular American citizen. They had a decent job and they were working and they lost their job and they just didn't go find another one. Now, it's gimme to put these people back on their feet, and some of them don't even want to get there.
Yeah, and that was another thing that was mentioned last night. That was another thing, just a minute. That was another thing that was mentioned last night in this interview. One of the questions was, would you hire a United States citizen first, or would you hire an illegal alien before that U.S. citizen? And again, I was shocked when the lady said, oh, I'd hire an illegal alien first, give them an opportunity. My goodness, where is the mindset in this country that we're promoting illegality and illegal people coming here over United States citizens? Keith, this is completely off-the-wall nuts.
Well, I've had people work for me that were even documented, but all of a sudden they'll take off and go back to Mexico. So they're not really stable as a rule.
Yeah.
They're very, very mobile. They can be gone overnight.
I've got to pay some bills, but I'll tell you what, I'm really frustrated when I hear these people on the left with the common sense that God gave a bowl of sand. I cannot understand their thinking. Keith, God bless you, and Nancy, have a great day. Thank you so much.
We're on our way.
All right, buddy. Thanks. All right. Hey, I want to say thank you to Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. That's correct. Don't you forget the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area. And they really provide more one-on-one care. They want you to stop in. They want you to check out the facilities. They want you to ask questions about your loved one living there that needs that little bit of extra help. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Oh, and my old buddy and his crew are out there working already this morning. I can tell you that. Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. My goodness, they're putting in sprinkler systems, or they're repairing old ones before the fall gets here. And they're probably taking and pruning trees, getting rid of those limbs that might come sailing through your kitchen window in the wintertime. Make sure you check everything out. Give them a call. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, located at 336 South, 450 West of Paul. The number to call, 431-8733. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. 1 billion people. I mean, I can't even fathom increasing our population basically 4 times. Holy cow. And then I saw another story last night that did give me a little bit of hope in a murky swamp of liberalness. 2 professors, and I got to give both of these people kudos, a male and a female professor, wrote a combined paper together on the need for old-fashioned family values and morals to be re-implemented into our society. Wow. Yeah, they did. They absolutely said we need to have more of the family atmosphere. We need to have more of the tell Johnny and Susie yes or tell them no and stand behind that and be very, very judicial about the way that they're raised. Oh, my goodness. The left went nuts. Oh, they are trying to destroy both of these professors for writing this. These two professors have been called everything from racist to white supremacists and bigots for their values. And what they were really espousing is, come on, you can succeed if you try in America. And if you put forth a little effort, a little hard work, you can be a success in your chosen field of endeavor, like we've been saying on this program for a long time. But oh no, the left can't stand that. Oh, they want people to remain like a flock of sheep. Go graze over there for a little while. Then we'll move you back over here for a little while. Oh, we're the government. We'll make sure the big bad wolf doesn't get you. Now just stay there and don't move. And these two professors, I feel so sorry for them. Because maybe their careers, or any chance of advancement in their careers, maybe have hit a brick wall. But they were being very honest and forthright that we need values back into our society when people are going to work. They're going to have a family situation that is a family situation. Morals, family values. Oh, the left went into a tailspin. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, on Mondays, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox at about this time. And all you have to do is answer a trivia contest. And Sophie's Chatterbox at 530 East Street in Rupert. My goodness, what a great bakery. And what a great restaurant. I urge you to get over there and enjoy the goodies. Don't forget Mondays, 8:30. Sophie's Chatterbox giving away a dozen cookies. Don't you miss it. Going to be good. And while I'm waiting for your calls, I'm going to have to start setting alarm clocks and calling people. I also want to remind you about our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, hello, Juan. Hello, Eli. And they've got all the equipment to get the job done right. That's right, including all the big Doosan loaders, and they've got all the Bobcats in the various shapes and sizes, all the equipment rentals, all the retail equipment sales. And after yesterday's program, I made a comment about I'm going to go in and get a Bobcat. I got a whole bunch of cleaning up to do around here and everything. And people were going, "You're going to run a Bobcat? Do you know how to run a Bobcat?" I said, "No." "Well, oh my goodness, look out." No, I'm going to go over there, and they've got a big sandbox right out behind the Burley location, and I'm just going to have Juan or somebody give me a little crash course. Bad word. A little course in how to run it. And so, therefore, you can stop in anytime. 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Berry Equipment and Rental. You stop in and see them today. All right, let's get some calls on in here this morning. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know who Kid Rock is? He's a rock and roll singer, and Kid Rock is just a little bit on the free and easy and do what I want to do side. I've got a story about him in just a minute. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something about this hurricane in Florida. This Governor Rick Scott
Yes.
of Florida.
Yeah.
That guy has got guts. He has told the people, if you don't, just leave and not try to be macho or anything, because we're not going to come and save you.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds cruel, But by gosh, that's the way it's got to be.
No, it has to be that way.
Somebody else have to risk their life to go to get somebody else who didn't adhere.
I agree with you. No, I think Rick Scott told it like it was, and I think that people absolutely take advantage of bad situations sometimes for their own gain or their own selfishness, and I think that he absolutely was right. We are not going to exhaust the manpower and the resources and put other people in harm's way. If you, the homeowner, etc., are not smart enough to leave and evacuate, you are on your own.
Absolutely, and how much plainer can he put it? Sure, it's going to be inconvenient for you to go to a shelter. Maybe you don't even own a sleeping bag. But by golly, that's better than being washed away.
I agree. I totally agree with you that when the governor makes this statement, and there is a lot more, I think, warning, if you will, over the potentiality of Hurricane Irma coming in and really causing a mess. Now, I want to say that just prior to going on the program this morning, I heard the latest projections, and inserted in all the projections as to where Hurricane Irma is going to hit or maybe not hit, one of the maybe nots is if there's enough spinning of the actual hurricane, it could possibly spin further to the northeast and miss Miami and southern Florida, which I hope and pray it does. But I think the governor was 100% right. And yesterday on my program, I had a man on my program, Dan Perkins. I did not know that he was living down in Florida when I made the agreement to have him on my air about a week ago, and I did not know that he was evacuating, and it was really interesting to have a first person on the air telling about the evacuation, telling about what they had to do and everything. It's serious, and I agree with the governor. If you're going to stay there, you're on your own.
You know, the interesting thing that I heard about it is this thing can split and go to the west coast also.
Well, there's so many options. I'm not going to get into those this morning because nobody knows right now. They're tracking it with all the modern equipment they can, but our thoughts and prayers to everybody down there. But like the governor said, we are not going to exhaust manpower or resources or try to put someone else in harm's way if you stay. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, and I admire this governor no end by telling it like it is.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Rogge Auctions, I tell you what, they really put on a classy sale. They do a great job, and they've got the Vernon Olander retirement sale coming up this Saturday, September 9th, 10 a.m., over in Buell. And this is going to be a really good sale. They've got some excellent tools, and I tell you what, they're going to be selling over there starting at 10 o'clock at 1553 East, 4150 North of Buell, and they've got shop equipment, and like I said, a lot of really great tools, parts, trailers, pickup trucks, loader and a heister, everything. So please remember, go to the website and check it out, RoggeAuctions.com. This sale this Saturday, September 9th, 10 a.m., over in Buell, Vernon Olander retirement sale managed by Rogge Auction Company. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'll tell you how bad and how devious the liberal left is in this country. Kid Rock is not really I'm trying to think of how to say this about Kid Rock. He's not really a polished stone. He, like me, we have quite a few rough and jagged edges. And he doesn't apologize, nor do I. And it seems like the liberals and the left have been watching and remembering what he does at his concerts. He stands proudly for the American flag, and he stands proudly for our national anthem. Oh, the left. Well, you can't do that. Why, you can't do that. You know, how dare you? And some of the liberals in Michigan, his home state, have demanded that he cancel some of his concerts, and they have also demanded that nobody go to his concerts because he respects the flag in the United States. You know, just stop whatever you're doing for a minute. Just close your eyes. If you're driving, just close one. And just think about America, the greatest country ever in the history of the world. And we have some of these bobbers in the lake, liberals, that want to go after people and ruin their careers and denigrate and damn them because they honor our flag and our country? Somebody better take an aspirin and then calmly tell me, where in the world did we start going wrong? What happened to us? This is nuts. And it goes along with this other story about Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. Another sanctuary city in the making. Yeah. They're going to become another sanctuary city. The city council in Atlanta, Georgia, told their police forces not to cooperate in any way, shape, or form with ICE, the immigration authorities. And I mean, basically what we're saying to the bad guys and the illegals, oh, come on in. Nobody's going to mess with you. We don't care what you've done. We don't care what you do. Come live in our little city and make it just rosy and nice. I mean, most of these city councils haven't got the common sense of hummingbird droppings. That's kind of a neat little deal to think about, isn't it? Anyway, Atlanta now becoming another sanctuary city. What are your thoughts on these sanctuary cities? I mean, it's like, in my mind's eye, you see the outskirts of Atlanta, and I've been there many, many times, and they got kind of a fence around it and a big sign in gold letters. We don't care who you are. We don't care what you've done, because this is a sanctuary city. Come on in. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Seb? Did you ever stop to think of the money these Mexicans send it back to Mexico every month, thousands of dollars? Those people back in Mexico don't bury it, and you can bet the government gets it. Don't you think that we just about keeping Mexico alive?
You know, I know that there's a ton, and I literally use that word, of money going out of our country that absolutely should be taxed and stay here, et cetera. It's going back there to help. I think the people here are the best supporters to the Mexican economy.
Well, there ought to be something done about it.
I agree, and I appreciate your call this morning. I appreciate the fact that you're listening and have opinions on this. Thank you very much.
Yep.
You know, there's so much that 20 years ago, we wouldn't be having these kind of talks about two professors having to write a paper on old-fashioned family values and morals, trying to bring it back into our society. It was here. And we wouldn't be talking about sanctuary cities. Chicago. I mean, look at the mess Chicago's in right now with the despicable Mayor Rahm Emanuel declaring proudly, this little banty rooster, Chicago is a Trump-free zone. Oh, my goodness. 20 years ago, we wouldn't have thought about that. We had some pride in this country. We were unified. You know, next Monday is September 11th, Patriots Day. And this morning I was looking at the calendar, and I was looking at that day, and I said, wow, I can remember vividly what happened to me on 9/11. Where I was, what I was doing, and the hollow pit in my stomach after the jets hit the World Trade Center. And I thought, what in the world is going on in this country that we've lost our pride? We've lost our ability to kind of link arms and tell the bad guys of the world, stay away. Now we've got people right here in our society, different factions, different groups that hate Donald Trump and his presidency so bad, they've sided with the likes of Kim Jong-un over in North Korea, and they're helping and providing all they can for North Korea and not the United States. I am so proud to be a citizen of this country. I am so proud to have lived 69 years in the greatest country in the world. I am so proud to have a program on American radio where I can really sit down and praise the red, white, and blue. And I'm also very happy that I get an opportunity to stick the left in the eye. Weather forecast is brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Absolutely, right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room, and I urge you to give them a call for a hearing screening today. You know, I had some problems, and my right ear especially was causing me a lot of trouble, and I went over there, bing, bang, boom, I took that hearing screening test, and this lady, Dr. Christine Pickup, knows so much about sound and hearing. I thought I knew a little bit about sound, but I'll tell you what, I can't even get by the preface in the book. She's written all the chapters. She knows sound and how to help you. Give her a call for an appointment today, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, waiting to serve you. Right now, here's the weather.
That air quality advisory still is in effect for today and probably through the beginning of next week, as we still are having some wildfires in our area. So if you have upper respiratory issues, limit your outdoor time. Looking at mostly sunny skies for today, high of 91, tonight low of 58. Tomorrow, still going to be smoky, and we're going to throw in some slight chances of afternoon thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, high of 88 with an overnight low of 58. As we get on into the weekend, that smoke is going to continue. Add into the mix maybe some rain and some thunderstorms for Saturday with a high of 83. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, my, the only locally owned and independent hearing health care practice in southern Idaho. Call for an appointment today, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Holy moly. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm snickering because on certain mornings, I'm wondering if maybe, hello, I got it. Anybody out there? Give me a call. One other little story I wanted to get in this morning, and it's again about the Democrats. There are certain people that just kind of, they get under your skin. You know, you see them on television, and they're irritating, kind of like having athlete's foot. Well, Democratic Representative Luis Gutierrez of Illinois is one of those people that gets under your skin like athlete's foot. You know, this man has been investigated for illicit and illegal activities within his state of Illinois, and he's good buddies with Rahm Emanuel in Chicago, the whole 9 yards. Well, his no class yesterday actually just came right out to the forefront when he said that former General John Kelly is a disgrace to the uniform. Now, I read the entirety of his remarks, and all of this is over DACA, and Gutierrez, by the way, wants to have a no borders, open borders, absolutely, everybody come in, everybody come on in, you're welcome, the American taxpayer will pay for it. That's his attitude. This guy's never served his country. He's a Democratic representative, little bitty guy, and with a big mouth. And he's kind of like a little worm, you know. Whenever there were pictures taken of Obama when Obama was in office, you'd always see Gutierrez kind of lingering and hovering and trying to get his picture in the paper or that picture, that photograph. And I remember vividly when Obama would go into the chambers for the State of the Union address, bingo! Up pops the little bitty head with the big mouth, Luis Gutierrez. Always in the camera, always planning how he can be seen. And he comes out and he makes a statement that General John Kelly is a disgrace to the uniform. And here's a guy that's never served. Just because there's a difference of political opinion, all of a sudden he has to go to the bottom level of the ladder and say, he's a disgrace to the uniform of the United States. Wow. So many vile problems with Luis Gutierrez. And this man, this little man with a very small mind, comes out and starts denigrating anybody that doesn't agree with his politics. And so many times we've seen him on television advocating, like I said a moment ago, the Open Borders campaign. And this is just one more very good example of how poor and how anti-American the left is in our country today. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, have you got a can of 3-in-1 oil over there?
Why do you ask?
Oil the phone. Evidently, it's rusted shut. Okay.
Hey, there you go.
All right, thank you. With a little threat of oil, we get a call. Morning, caller. How are you?
I heard you call for help this morning.
Help? Man, I've been floating in the ocean without a life preserver for the last 45 minutes.
Okay. Well, about this open borders deal. Open borders was a boon for foreign countries. This gave the foreign countries a chance to dump all their welfare people, drive them off into our country, and dump them right on our doorstep.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do with them? Many of them are uneducated.
Oh, yeah.
Can't find jobs.
Yep.
They come in here, they get free medical care, they get free housing, and every time they have a little one, they may be collecting $1,000 or $1,500, and the next thing you know, these people are driving brand new vehicles that you and I cannot afford. So what is Gutierrez talking about?
Or starting to insert themselves into local and city government and run for various positions.
Well, this is exactly what's happening.
Yep.
We are going to be taken over unless we do something that's drastic, like put the military out there in the streets. We may need martial law, but we've got to uproot these people and send them back to where they came from.
You know, Tony, I'm really, really concerned of the naivete that's spreading around the country, including right here in this area of Magic Valley primarily. I look at Twin Falls, and I scratch my head at the leadership in Twin, if there is any. And they're destitute of knowledge as to what's taking place in other areas of the United States, and they seem like they feel they're immune to having those same problems come here. They are not. Anything and everything that goes on around our nation can possibly infiltrate the state of Idaho.
I see it happen at one of our local markets that we shop at.
Uh-huh.
They're coming in here, they're rolling out with 2 baskets full of food and getting into brand new vehicles.
Yeah. But doesn't it
I
just...
complained about it a couple of years ago, but according to them, the vehicles that they are driving has nothing to do with the welfare that they collect.
But, Tony, come on. Stop being so negative. You should feel proud that you helped them buy that new Lexus. What's the matter with you?
Well, I've got 2 cars that are getting close to dying of old age.
So do I.
And unfortunately, we're not subject to collecting welfare or anything else.
Oh, I know what you mean. Listen, go give...
It disturbs me a little bit, and it should disturb a lot of other people, especially the fact that the people that are on Social Security who have worked all their lives haven't had an increase in
That's right.
3 years or
That's
4
right.
years.
That's right. I got to run to the news.
To help with the cost of living.
I agree with you. I got to run to the news, Tony. God bless you. Give Mary a kiss for me. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Hey, don't forget the fall tire sale at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my. Doing the right thing matters. That's their tagline, and it's really the truth. They've got all your passenger car tires. They've got your pickup and SUV tires for everything. And on sale right now, that Eclipse tire for your cars, premium traction, superior ride quality, starting at just $63.99. Oh, boy. And then the Backcountry MT for your pickups and SUVs. Oh, this is a big dude that can get the job done for you. Stop in, along with all the tires in the fall tire sale. Check out, of course, the brake service, best in brake service, and front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, and the best in service. I mean that. The best in service. With Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Oberland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run to the news. Wheels is waiting. I'll be back in 7 minutes. Oh, I hate these smoky conditions out there. It's been hard on a lot of people. I mean, with lung problems, and I know yesterday my eyes were burning. My goodness sakes, be careful out there. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. Big fall tire sale going on right now. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
All the dumpsters in various sizes from Western Waste Services. Deanna's threatened me. She said, get a dumpster. You got to get a dumpster. Okay, I'm getting a dumpster from Western Waste. We're going to take out the back window of my office and just pitch and throw. They've got dumpsters in various sizes, and I urge you to give them a call. They'll deliver it. You fill it up, they'll come and get it. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. Always at your disposal. Pitch and throw. Okay, here we go. Also, before we get our guest on the line in just a moment, I want to remind you about some really good friends of ours and the community. Always there to help in the community. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his staff, family. I mean, they're just wonderful people. And I have never seen Joel Heward without a smile on his face. Nice man. And they always uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. Please call them at 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. They really care and can help you with all the arrangements. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, 436-5636. Right now, let me see if I got anything else I have to get done before I go over to the chamber. I have one quick note. Don't forget Rogge Auction's going to have a super good retirement sale on this Saturday, September 9th, 10 o'clock in the morning at 1553 East, 4150 North of Buell. It's the Vernon Olander retirement sale. Ripping good tools. I mean, this man really had a lot of great tools. And shop equipment, trailers, pickup trucks, loaders, Heister, all of this and more. Go to the website, roggeauctions.com, and check it out. It's this Saturday at 10 o'clock over in Buell, the Vernon Olander Retirement Sale, managed by some really great folks. Rogge Auction Company. You be sure and be in attendance on Saturday. Well, hello, Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and I know better than to say anybody by name because I'm always wrong. Enter and sign in, please.
Hello, Deb. This is Kyla at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. How are you today?
Well, I am peachy fine. What is going on in your world?
Well, you know, there is a lot of stuff that's going on, and I just want to tell everybody, hang in there with the smoke. Oh, my goodness. It is so difficult to see out there. We still have kids going to school and just a lot of people driving around trying to find their way that live here even. And so we've had folks into the visitor center just commenting, well, where is the smoke coming from? Honestly, I think it's coming from anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's been a little crazy in that respect. There are just so many wildfires, and, you know, I'm just hoping that we can get a good weather system to move some of this out of here. But in the meantime, keep everybody safe. So, I don't know. How are things your way this morning? Because it's pretty bad over here today.
You know, it was really funny. Yesterday, we could not see more than perhaps 250 yards because it was so thick. It has lightened up a little bit this morning. I'm looking out my studio window now, and I can see across the canyon, to which I couldn't even see close to that yesterday. So it has lessened a little bit here in this area.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, today we're just hoping one day at a time, and maybe we can just get this cleared out. But we have got the big, huge Dry Creek Bass Tournament that is going on this weekend. And so I know a lot of anglers are coming in from out of the area. They're going to be staying in our local hotels. They're going to be using the different restaurants. And they are going to be fishing for the big prizes. So if you're wondering what's with all the folks out on the water or in town, that would be one of the things that is definitely going on this weekend. And then, of course, we also have the second annual Patriotic Car Show and Swap Meet, and that is going to be going down on Saturday from 10 to 4 at the Rupert Historic Square is what I have, standing for red, white, and blue. And it's just going to be amazing. But they've got classic cars, the race cars, they'll have some community flag retirements going on. So this is really educational for the kids. If you want to know exactly how you're supposed to retire a flag, you can watch this. And then, of course, they have entertainment, food, and all sorts of other fun stuff going on. But that's going to be a really good one if you can get out this weekend and check it out.
Absolutely.
I really highly encourage you to. Those folks over at the Combat Vets Association and the Rupert Veterans just do a fantastic job, Zeb. They really do.
And you know they're going to have some pretty doggone good food over there because I know some of the food servers and they're pretty good.
Yes. I feel bad when we just talk about the food with every event that we talk about.
Yeah, that's all right.
Like, what do they do? Just go and eat at these things? Well, yeah, I guess we do. We got to own it. So.
You know, now that you're looking at the fair season over and now most of the kids are back in school, and what about, does your business over there at the chamber, does it just get to the point where you put your feet up on the desk and sit back and have a milkshake and say, well, that's all I'm going to do today? I mean, what happens over there?
I wish. You know, the other thing that's going to be happening, if you really want to hear fun times, we have the 2017 Magic Valley Legislative Tour coming to our area starting Sunday afternoon. So we have all the Dry Creek Bass Tournament folks in town. And then how this works, this is kind of fascinating, is that the three chambers of commerce, so it's Minnecasia, Twin Falls, and Jerome, we invite all 106 legislators plus their wives or partners to come and visit our area. And we have several sponsors here in the area that have helped us with the cost to bus them around. But they have not been here, some of them, ever. And some of them are coming from North Idaho, coming from all over the state. Not all 106 can make it because, you know, that's almost impossible at times. But those that are coming will have a fabulous chance to see some of the different industry and economic development that's happening here in the Magic Valley area. And so I wish we could have a milkshake and put our feet up on the desk, Zeb, but we have that taking place Sunday evening through all day Monday, and then Tuesday they're going to head over to Twin Falls in the Jerome area, and they'll finish up on Wednesday. And then, of course, we're getting ready for all sorts of things that will be happening this fall and winter and into spring for next year. And I think one of the biggest needs that we're hearing from our businesses all over the place is we need help. We need people. So we are planning right now a huge job fair targeting outside the region for people to come in March. So if you're a business that is interested in hiring the high school kids for next year's summer jobs for temporary or part-time work, if you're interested in getting full-time and part-time employees on permanent work, give us a call here at the Chamber because we want to let you know how we're going to do this job fair and how we're going to market it to some outside states to really bring people in to fill these positions. Because I was driving down Overland from South Overland to North Overland, and it seemed like almost every other block you could not help but see a help wanted on the electronic sign or inquire within, or they have something taped up on the door when you're walking into the business. So, you know, there are plenty of jobs here, and we just want to try to see what we can do to bring people into the area, or existing people that live here, maybe it's time they move into a better position. So,
you know, I agree.
It's a very busy time around here.
I really agree with what you just said a moment ago, and I'm really an advocate of what in the world is going on. I haven't seen this for years, to where many businesses, like you said, you drive down the street, you see help wanted, now hiring, etc., etc. There are opportunities out there if people will, and I'm going to be very blunt, get up off their big fat butt, out of the lazy boy, and go to work and be a responsible citizen. There are great jobs available so that you can be successful and attain some of the goals that you wanted in life.
Yes, and I do want to say, Zeb, I'm going to agree with you. I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but here's the deal. We just had to hire for positions about, 3 months ago. We do an internship here with the Department of Labor, and it was fascinating to me to talk to people where the job was going to be, Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Saturday, because we're a visitor center, and basically you're working 9 to 5. Not terribly difficult hours, and we're not a super manual labor-intensive facility here at the Chamber. I'll own that. You talk to a lot of people. We have a lot of phones that we answer, things like that. And I had people that were interviewing that were like, I just don't know if I can work that many hours. I just don't know. I'm not used to being on a set schedule. It was crazy to me. So I'm not really sure, what we're going to do to target folks. But I would say there are plenty of job opportunities. But keep in mind, you may not be entering at the CEO level. You're going to enter at maybe a lower level, learn the position, and then get to advance. And that is a concept that's tough with some of the generations, and I don't know why. I'm not a psychology professor. I'm not going to profess to be, but that is something that all of us as hiring folks should think about in terms of, well, you're obviously not going to put someone who's inexperienced at a higher position, but you're going to have to think differently in terms of how you recruit and how you explain what the job requirements are to people.
Kyla, I appreciate your being candid because I will not accept anyone on this program that isn't. One of my main pet peeves is that our society today has made it too easy for people to be on the dole, to have a hand out and take things and gimme attitude. And we've got to reverse this. We've got to make people more responsible. They've got to realize that if they want to tie their own shoelaces, they better get a leg up on their own and start to work for their own career and their family's success. I don't know what we do to re-implement those thoughts.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, we have got plenty of jobs here, and they're good paying jobs to have. I mean, I know. I remember when I started out back when I was 16 years old, and I was super excited about that. There is work out there. And, yeah, you're not going to be paid, a huge salary at first, but you will work your way up. And I think this is something our community is going to be addressing, especially, I'm just going to put it out there, and you'll probably get calls, and me too, but we have 2 school districts that are awesome with some really great teachers and whatnot going on. But it would be really great for the future training of these two school districts if they were on the same track system, meaning they're both on semesters, they're both on trimesters, so that the different companies in this area that want to fund apprenticeship programs, such as welding or diesel mechanic, etc., can build one place, maybe one's in Casual, one's in Minidoka, etc., and then the kids from both school districts are on the same schedule so they can get that training, drive to class or be bused to those classes, and then come back to their regular school for the rest of their academia. And I know that is a foreign concept. That river sometimes is wider than it needs to be. But if you look at other successful communities, we have a wonderful workforce here that is coming up, that exists. And I think they already have their tribe here. They have their families here. So if we don't want them to leave, we need to find a way to get them trained and into these great jobs.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot, on the air live. And believe me, I don't apologize. This is the way I fly my airplane.
That's okay.
Well, here's the deal, and I'm not being facetious at all. I think that you and I should get together on the phone after this program and devise various segments on my radio program. Simply, I'll say it this way. Get to work. Make something of yourself and be responsible. We need to put segments out there as to how they can do this, what the opportunities are, everything. I think we need to do this. I am sick and tired of mollycoddling the millennial generation to the point where they've got a tin cup out and they're asking for quarters. No. Get to work, be responsible, and learn the American goals and ideals that your mom, your dad, your grandparents had.
I think it would be a good segment definitely to promote that there are ways to get jobs out here and also to help employers with finding those people.
Absolutely.
I know there's good people out there, so how do we help them find them in a digital age and all this other kind of fun stuff?
Tell you what, I'm running...
Whatever you want, Zeb. This sounds fun.
I tell you what, I'm so far...
People to come work the jobs. We have a workforce that's coming up through the school, and, people will continue to move here as well for those jobs.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be exciting times, that's for sure.
I am way over time.
I'll talk to you after the show. That's no problem.
All right, good. I am way over time this morning, as you can tell by looking at your Timex, but I'll guarantee you and I are going to get together on this issue because it's one that I'm adamantly in favor of. Kyla at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Woo! We're way into my other segment. I've got to get going. God bless you. I'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you, Zeb. Have a great day.
All right, take care. I am late. I got to get my Denny's football trivia on in just a moment. Right now, I got to tell everybody about Zollinger Quarter Horse Sale. You know, I've been around horses all my life, and I want horses in my family and the ones I use to have a good mind. I want them thinking. I want the best of conformation. I want color. I want them to be really good horses. That's what's going to be available to you at Zollinger Quarter Horses annual production sale this Saturday, September 9th. Preview at 10. Walk around, see the horses, ask questions. And the sale at 11. Up at the ranch, Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch, 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley, this Saturday. Now, don't miss it, please, because you'll really miss one of the premier horse sales all over the Northwest. Right here, Zollinger Quarter Horse Production Sale this Saturday, starting at 10 with the preview, sale at 11. Don't miss it. Want to remind you, too, next Thursday, we are going to be over at Ramsey Heating and Electric for our Hats Off to Farmer and Patriot Week celebration. We're going to start it at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's right, 7 o'clock in the morning. George Mass is going to have biscuits and gravy. Oh, ho, ho, what a good breakfast. And the proceeds of that breakfast go to the Zeb Christmas Corral so that we, on behalf of this program, can help some needy families at Christmas time. I'm really asking you to stop in. And then, of course, we'll do our 3-hour remote broadcast right there at Denny's, oh boy, I'm in trouble, right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Don't forget, that's next Thursday at our friends Ramsey Heating and Electric. At least they were our friends until I made a mistake. 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And it's the annual Hats Off to Farmers and Salute to Patriots Day celebration at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Okay, now that I messed everything up this morning, I also want to remind you it is past time for our Denny's football trivia. Rum-ta-dum! You can win a Grand Slam. Make it yourself, or my goodness, breakfast at Denny's. This is going to be fantastic. And we're going to go through the high school schedule in just a moment, but you can build your own Grand Slam breakfast. Pick any 4 items, make it your own for just $6.89 right there at Denny's. You can win a free one by right now answering the trivia question. And I'm going to just give you little bits and pieces about this man, and I want you to give me his name. He is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He graduated from the Naval Academy. He won the Heisman Trophy. He served in Vietnam, and he came back and was one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL for many years. What was his name, and who did he play for? What was his name, and who did he play for? 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. He is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Graduated from the Naval Academy, won the Heisman Trophy, and served in Vietnam, and came home and was one of the NFL's greatest ever quarterbacks. Caller, good morning. What is the answer? Hello, caller. Speak to me. Go ahead. Wheels, the listener is not on the air. What's going on over there, please?
Oh, let me check real quick.
Real fast. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller. Well, let's go ahead and take another call. And Wheels, ride that. Do you have him?
Yeah, he's on the phone still.
All right, caller. Go ahead. What's your answer?
Roger Staubach.
What's your name?
Cowboys.
What's your name?
Jim
Well, Jim, that doesn't cut it. What's your last name?
Crawford.
Jim Crawford, you go into Denny's at 611 North Overland and Burley. Identify yourself. We are going to call them and tell them that you have won a Grand Slam breakfast. It was Roger Staubach with the Dallas Cowboys. Jim, thank you for your call this morning.
You betcha. Enjoy your program.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. Jim Crawford, the winner. It was Roger Staubach. A lot of people forget that he was a graduate of the Naval Academy, served our country in Vietnam, and was a Heisman Trophy winner, came back, played great football, Hall of Fame football for the Dallas Cowboys, Roger Staubach. Right now, let's take a look at some of the high school games that are going on this weekend. Holy cow, September 8th, tomorrow, Burley Bobcats are going to play Minico. That is going to be a great game. Woo, look out. And Canyon Ridge Riverhawks are playing Shelley. Jerome Tigers, Idaho Falls. Minico Spartans, I said, are playing Burley. Twin Falls Bruins are taking on Wood River. And then the Buell Indians have an open week this week. They're not playing a game this week. Filer Wildcats takes on American Falls. Gooding Senators are going to play Fruitland. Kimberly Bulldogs taking on Declo. That is going to be a good game. And, of course, Wendell Trojans taking on Summit Academy in Utah. Glens Ferry Pilots taking on Raft River. Another good game. Hagerman playing Chalice. Oakley Hornets Horseshoe Bend. Oh, boy. And let's see what else have we got on our list. Shoshone taking on Valley. That'll be a good game. And, of course, moving now to Camas County versus Murtaugh. Cary Panthers are taking on Hanson. The Castleford Wolves are playing Dietrich. And let's see if we got any other games we did not cover. Richfield Tigers are taking on Lighthouse Christian. All of those games coming up this weekend in high school prep football. Don't forget to be listening every Thursday during football season for the Denny's Trivia Contest of the Week, where you can win a Grand Slam breakfast. Let's not forget to tell you about our friends at Let's Ride. My goodness sakes, These people over there introduced Deanne and I to the world of four-wheelers, and we've been so thankful ever since. We just love getting away on those four-wheelers with our friends, take a little trip, etc. Well, all the four-wheelers, all the side-by-sides, everything right over there at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4, and they absolutely have the best of everything. All the accessories you need, and, of course, a super service department to keep you running, absolutely. So stop over and see them today. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and it's true. This is where the fun is sold. Also want to remind you, too, about our dear friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. My, oh my, what wonderful people. And I guarantee that when you call over there, make an appointment, or give them a call on the phone with questions, they really take care of you. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more by agents that are very dedicated and responsive to you, your family, and your business needs. Remember to call 436-4424. Make an appointment today. Don't put it off. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really nice people. The professionals. In just a moment, we're going to check with Wheels over at our main studio, and I believe I'll do that right now. Wheels, do we have Idaho State Senator Kelly Anthon on the line?
He's calling in right now.
How do you know? Okay.
Did you hear the phone ring?
Okay. All right. As I stated earlier this morning, normally on Thursdays, we have a dear friend of this program, Rita Ramsey, at this time slot. Well, she took a well-deserved vacation, a family vacation, and we absolutely respect her for that. And I thought to myself, who in the world could I possibly get to fill in for this half hour? And bingo, a name hit me of a man that's been so easy to work with and talk to on the radio and explain what's going on in politics statewide. And that's, of course, our own state senator from this area, Kelly Anthon. Good morning, Kelly. How are you?
Good morning, Deb. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for letting me come on today.
Well, it's my privilege to have you on the air. You know, a lot of people are sitting back and they're not realizing what kind of shape the state of Idaho is in. A lot of people don't understand our economic standards and the growth that's going on and everything. And I thought it would be great for you to get on this morning and elaborate a little bit about really where are we at financially in the Gem State.
Well, yeah, Zeb, thank you again. I guess I want to just start by saying it's great to be an Idahoan. It really is. It's great to be an Idahoan even when the economy is not doing well. But what's really interesting right now is that in Idaho, the economy is doing very, very well. The thing that's caught my eye recently is that Bloomberg, and we all know Bloomberg, but Bloomberg has an economic evaluation of the state's index. So what they're measuring is they're measuring employment, personal income, home prices, mortgage delinquency, tax revenue, and the stock market. So they have all these factors, and they shuffle those around. They see which state is doing the very best. Idaho's economy is number one in the nation, according to that index right now. And there are a couple reasons and kind of facts that point out this a little bit better. So if you look at Idaho's personal income, that's increased about 5%. And Idaho is growing at the fastest rate in the nation. So we're beating everybody else on personal income growth, and that hasn't happened since 1948, just after World War II. So that's a remarkable thing. Now, if you look at the Magic Valley, we've really led the state. So what that means to me is, if we're leading the state and the state's leading the nation, then what you find out is that in the Mini-Cassia area, the Magic Valley area, we've got one of the very best economies in the nation. Let me just talk a little bit, Zev, about Rupert.
Okay.
Which is near and dear to my heart. Rupert, until recently, to be honest, wasn't doing all that hot. We were losing people. We had our population was going down according to the last census the city was really struggling to get business investment. They couldn't get new businesses. As a matter of fact, we were losing business. We were losing jobs, and we were losing people. But in the last 5 years, there's been this amazing turnaround, and we're just starting to see it, I think. But we've turned around even on population. So where we were projected to lose population, and the last census showed we lost population, just last year we had a 1% growth. Now, 1% doesn't sound too bad or too great, but it's really, if you think about a community like Rupert, and if you think about how we like to not grow too fast, that's a pretty hefty number. The other thing you're seeing in Rupert is you're seeing new homes being built.
Mm-hmm.
And that has not happened on this scale for decades in Rupert. As a matter of fact, I counted up, I think we have about over 200 lots in development in the city of Rupert right now.
Okay.
And then, of course, new business. So new business in Rupert, you have Trend Systems Manufacturing, Performix, Calva, Wiltran, these amazing, really solid businesses looking at Rupert. And Minidoka County, our good county over there, just 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we were the lowest on average salaries in southern Idaho. We had a low income. And it's been turned right upside down. So now Minidoka County has, in just 10 years, become one of the highest average salaries and household incomes in southern Idaho. You look at Burley, Zeb. You look at Burley. After Kraft closed, we struggled with a time of some difficult unemployment. But Burley has been a national leader now in job growth. And Cassia County, has seen job growth of about 20% in the last 10 years. That's amazing. So, I guess it's important. I guess the question is, Zeb, and I'd love to hear from you and your callers, but I've got some ideas on why this is even important. I mean, why do we even talk about the economy at all?
Well, let me interrupt here. Let me interrupt you just for a second and say this, and let me put this out to you. There had to be something 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever the time frame, that all of a sudden started moving the needle to the right. What was it? What was the important factor to start taking things the right way? Who did it? What happened? I mean, kind of explain that to me a little bit.
I think there are a number of factors, Zeb. I mean, as you'd expect. What's interesting as we discuss this is that if you look at Wyoming in the exact same index, they're the very last. They are said to have the worst economy right now. Now, I think that to answer your question, we've woke up to the fact that there's some diversification in the economy that's really, really healthy for a state like ours that is ag-based. Mm-hmm. And please make no bones about this. Our agriculture industry is the lifeblood of the state of Idaho. I say it all the time, and I mean it. I have made an absolute commitment in the very depths of my soul that as long as I'm in the state Senate, I am a voice for agriculture because it is the lifeblood of our economy. But what we've done in the last few years is we've expanded our tech industry.
Yeah.
And we've realized a couple of things, that if you're an ag economy and you're producing way, way, way more than Idahoans can consume, and I mean a lot more, then you have to find a good market.
That's right.
It reminds me, Zeb, of our Governor Otter. He, as you know, he had ties to the Simplot company, and there was a time when that company wasn't doing so hot. And there was an internal discussion at the Simplot company about just harvesting the company, just being done with it, sell it off, make our money, and move out. But what they decided was if we're not doing well, we need to find more mouths to feed because they were an ag company. And that's when they went international. And that's how they succeeded. And I think one thing we've done in Idaho is we've recognized that where we produce so much, we have to expand our market. And we have to find other places to take Idaho goods and make sure that our farmers are selling the product. And we've done good at that. As a matter of fact, I would say in the last 10 years, we've really woken up better to the export business, but also the foreign direct investment. And that means you're getting companies from overseas to say, hey, Idaho's a good place to make food. I'll give you an example, and that's McCain Foods.
Right.
McCain Foods, who is a good partner with our farmers and our economy in southern Idaho, in Burley, they've just announced a $100 million expansion and a whole bunch of new jobs in Burley.
Right.
And we competed for that. Burley competed for that. There were other places that wanted that expansion. But that's not an American company. That's a Canadian company.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've realized is that, we can have some really great partnerships with companies that need food, too, that aren't necessarily homegrown. That's one thing, Zeb. I think the other thing is we've gotten savvy to how you grow a rural economy and diversify a rural economy. So the State Department of Commerce has got some new tools, even in the last 5 years, that have really helped local little towns like a Hayburn or a Rupert be able to attract a business and put the sewer in the ground and put the water in the ground and do some of those things that you have to do to get a business. So I think there's a lot moving there, Zeb, and I don't know if I've even covered all of it.
Well, I'm going to throw one item into the fray, and I don't know if it's appropriate this time in the conversation or not, but I'm going to do it because the last I looked, I paid the bills on this program. But I'm going to insert education. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to mean it. I am very, very upset at the naysayers in our society. You may not agree with this, Kelly, as a state senator, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm very upset at the naysayers and the negative doers in our society that run the ads, that, Idaho kids, they're dropped off from a school bus in a destitute desert and there's no place to go. There's bad education in the state of Idaho, blah, blah, blah. And I think just the opposite. I know when I do the Cassia County School Days on Thursdays, coming up next hour, and other school districts and systems, Rupert, I don't care who they are, they're doing a great job, and I think now they are all realizing not to put the emphasis only on a college education, but the trade schools, and I think it's opening up new fields of thought, and I think we're seeing a lot of people stay here and prosper here. That's my little soapbox, and I'm going to stand on it.
Well, and I'll stand with you because there's not a word you said that I disagree with. As a matter of fact, so you've touched on several things. One is that as the economy, well, let's first talk about this. Why do I care about the economy? Why do you care about the economy? I'll tell you why I care about it. I don't care about growth for growth's sake. I'm not just trying to, when my wife and I decided where we were going to land, our number one choice was Burley Rupert area. And that's because we're both from here, and our families have been here for a long time. But what is difficult if your economy is not vibrant is to allow opportunity for your children to get really good jobs and stay here. And so when I think about this economy piece, and I think about economic development, even education, I'm thinking of it from a family standpoint. And I think most of my constituents, most of our neighbors here feel the same way, and that is, our economy should be growing enough, and we should be providing the right education enough that if our children want to stay here and get a good jobs and be close to home, they can do that. We don't need to become Chicago or Salt Lake, heaven forbid, or something like that.
That's right.
Because the fact is we live in a rural community because we like to live in a rural community. And so there's a balance that's going to be struck here as we see economic growth that I think about every day. And the balance to me is making opportunity for family. Now, education. On education, you're dead right. The fact of the matter is we need good people in good trades every bit as much, if not more, than some guy going to college to get a sociology degree.
Right.
And we are slowly turning the ship, I think, in Idaho to do a better job in recognizing that career tech piece in education. And I also think our school systems have done a good job. I think that when we have these criticisms of the schools, I'm not going to tell you there's not improvement to be made, but I don't know how helpful that criticism is. And the other thing is, I still have to believe, I still believe very firmly that the real place where education is going to take hold is inside your home. If your parents are not, when my kids walk through the door, the first question is, what do you got for homework? And that's how it was at my house. And so if you don't have that home support, and that's where we've kind of fallen down as a nation, I think, in some places, it's not just about throwing more money at a problem. It's trying to get the right environment so that the education system takes off, and then it supports that piece that I'm talking about, which creates jobs and opportunity for your family.
Absolutely. Kelly, I've got to interrupt because I have a caller, and then I want to remind the caller, keep it brief because I have to get to a weather forecast. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air quickly.
Good morning, Zeb and Kelly. You know, I think one thing that Kelly forgot to mention was the fact that we have awesome leaders helping achieve all these goals. Kelly has done amazing for Rupert and for the state, and I'll go, and you both have a good day.
I appreciate that remark, and I'd like you to respond because you do have a very good following that respects your job, Senator Anthon.
Well, that means something to me. So I appreciate that call. That's a very nice thing to do and say. You know, I'll tell you what, for those who don't know, but politics is an ugly business. And I see other people around the state and other districts, and they take a regular beating, and they take unfair beatings. I'll tell you one thing that's really hard when you're in politics is how hard it is on your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's nice to have people that are positive and that have, for all those people who have reached out to say these kinds of things to me, I really do appreciate it. And we're not here for the glory. As a matter of fact, we don't want to become those people. My wife and I have had that conversation many times. So when we get too big for our britches, you know, you can call us on it, and we'll probably walk out of here.
All right. Kelly, I got to interrupt and have a weather forecast and a brief commercial, and we're on the air with Senator Kelly Anthon. And Kelly, I want to come back after this weather and this commercial, and I'm going to ask you kind of a simple question, a three-letter word, how? Keep that in your mind. I'll be right with you. Don't forget our weather forecast brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. CPAs that have been serving the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, payroll services, retirement planning, etc. They are good, and they can help you, your family, and your business. Rupert and Burley locations of Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
That air quality advisory still is in effect for today and probably through the beginning of next week as we still are having some wildfires in our area. So if you have upper respiratory issues, limit your outdoor time. Looking at mostly sunny skies for today, high of 91, tonight low of 58. Tomorrow, still going to be smoky, and we're going to throw in some slight chances of afternoon thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, high of 88 with an overnight low of 58. As we get on into the weekend, that smoke is going to continue. Add into the mix maybe some rain and some thunderstorms for Saturday with a high of 83. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
And I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. Brought to you by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. As I said, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years, helping people starting a business, a partnership, or business owners wanting to expand and hire more employees. They've got the answers to your questions. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert, bringing you the weather for this hour on Zeb at the Ranch. The other day I had a chance to tour and visit with the people over at Pomerell Place in Burley for senior living. I was absolutely taken aback as to how wonderful and what a home atmosphere they provide, with the best of dining and transportation, activities and recreation, all the amenities for you. If you're a senior that really doesn't want to stay at home all by yourself, this is the place that you need to check on today. Call them at Pomerell Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. The number to call is 677-8212. Kelly, and again, I'm putting you on the spot, and we don't do preparation on this program. We fly by the seat of our pants so we can get the initial reactions of our guests. But, you know, earlier this morning we had a visit with Kyla at the Chamber of Commerce, and she brought this up, and it's really, really true. No matter where you drive, no matter where you go, you're going to see signs that said employee help wanted or now hiring. And that tells me that there's a lot of good jobs available in this area, but it also tells me we have a society that's dependent on government handouts and they don't want to work. Would you agree with that statement or not?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. We have some of that in our society for sure. And, you know, Zeb, that's another reason why this economy talk matters. Because if you can get your economy going, then theoretically, from a social issue standpoint, it should reduce your poverty, and that means you should have fewer and fewer people dependent on the government. And there should be lots of good work opportunities for those people who want to work and want to get up and work. And the problem is, and we've all seen it, that we unfortunately, and this comes from our federal government more than anything, we incentivize sitting at home.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe for disaster.
But Kelly, I guess what I'm after is, and you and I've talked about this before, I recall, how do we re-implement in the minds of people that you can be what you want to be, you can attain your goals, you can give and use the talents that God gave you to achieve success, and you can be anything in this country, America, if you just try. How do we re-implement that?
Wow, Zeb, I'm going to sound like a broken record a little bit, but I'll tell you what I really, really think. I think you have to start in the home.
Yeah.
I think you have to have the right attitude in your home when you raise children to say to them, listen, you got to work for what you get. It's funny, Zeb, I was just having a conversation with my dad last week. So my great-grandparents were Swedish immigrants. They came to Declo. I can't imagine. This is when Declo was sagebrush. I can't imagine what it looked, how it must have felt to show up. But what's interesting, they lived to be about 96 years old. They died in Burley. And I asked my dad, God, what was the social net? What kept them going? If you're not able to work and you're 96 years old and it's the 1940s or the 1950s, what was the social network? Because now, I know how they'd be taken care of for the most part.
Yeah.
But he told me even in their 90s, they were out raising a garden. They were canning food. They got up and they worked. And there's great, great value to work. And so I think I don't know how you get it done, Zeb, but I think, we have to keep as best we can that fabric of our society that teaches the values that Americans have built our country on for years and years and years.
Absolutely.
I think we can do some of that in the schools. And it's about personal accountability, showing up on time, all of the things that it takes. But, I think when you're raised in a home where they say, hey, you don't have to work because the government's going to take care of you, I say good luck. You're going to have a hard time getting those folks motivated.
Absolutely. Kelly, in the time remaining, and I've got about 3 minutes, as you look ahead to the pitfalls, pratfalls, and the problems that you're going to have during the legislative session this year, what do you think is the most important or are the most important issues that the legislature has to take care of for the state of Idaho?
Well, in my wheelhouse, Zeb, and the things I've been kind of working on is, just real quick, I'm working on fixing some problems I see in this is very kind of boring stuff, but mortgage law, which I think is unfortunate for farmers. So I'm going to do some work on fixing some of the mortgage law. I'm focused in on foster care, the foster care system, which takes care of the most vulnerable Idahoans, the most vulnerable children. It needs some fixing. So we've been working on that for a couple of years. And then I'm going to be looking again at this economy piece because the other kind of benefit, I think, of the economy growing the way it is it may be time to look at some tax cuts. But I'm not, but be clear, my bigger problem that I have is we need to continue to look at our roads and our infrastructure. And I took the position in the session last year, I'm not cutting taxes till you tell me the roads in Minidoka County and out to Murtaugh and out to Sequin, some of these places are fixed.
Yeah.
And so I'm not quite there yet, but I think we're making some amazing strides. And if we make some of those strides, I might be interested in an income tax break.
Okay. Sounds to me like you're going to have a full plate come January. Anything else you want to hit on quickly this morning? The forum is yours.
Well, Zeb, as I had about 5 minutes this morning and was able to catch your show, and I heard you talking about patriotism. This goes back to that comment I made about the fiber of our society. For some reason, we've convinced ourselves in certain circles that it's not chic to be a patriot.
Right.
And boy, that's a terrible thing for the country and for what we really need to accomplish. And I wanted to thank you because you made a very clear statement this morning about how you have no qualms about telling it like it is and being a patriot. And so thank you for what you do. Thank you for saying what you say. And I think we live in a great community. Like I said, we moved back here to raise our kids because I'm convinced, and I mean it, I'm convinced this is the very best place in the world to raise a family. I really believe that. So we're very blessed, and I really do appreciate everybody that has supported me. Please make yourself known to me if you have an issue that's bothering you in the state that I can help work on. I'm happy to hear from you. And, call me at home, 654-4099. You can call me on my cell phone, 431-5863. But track me down, and we'll have a visit.
I love it.
But I sure do appreciate you, Zeb, and your wife, and thank you for all you do for the community.
You know, Kelly, you are a breath of fresh air. I really enjoy having you on the show. Thank you for all you do. God bless you for your comments this morning. Idaho Senator Kelly Anthon, thank you very, very much, and God's blessings.
Thanks, Zeb. Have a good day.
Same to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Enjoy having that man on my program. I really do. You know, while I was sitting here this morning, I got to remember that I had a little bitty bowl of cereal at about 4:09 this morning, and here it is now, almost 10 o'clock. I'm hungry, and I'm starving to death. I know some great places to go, and coughing is not one of them. Anyway, the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Don't forget, they've got all the delicious sandwiches over there, like the chicken fried steak sandwich. Oh, that is so good, with the fries and the special sauce and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, my. And the shrimp and fries. You're going to love everything at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito? If you're hungry, oh, my goodness, 2301 Overland in Burley. The Taco Bandito has bacon with jalapeno in it. You need that little extra kick. Look out. Here it comes. And don't forget they've got new pork burritos with beans pork, rice, sour cream, and cheese. Oh, they are good. You're going to love the entire menu at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Burgers, etc., 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Spicy chicken combo. My goodness, includes fries and a drink. Oh, it's delicious. And you got to remember at the Burley store every Sunday a shrimp dinner for only $5.99. Really nice people, super good food at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. We move over to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Oh my, they've got music on Friday and Saturday nights out on the patio as long as the weather's good. And they've got a new salad called the Chaos Salad. Chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers. It's really good. Buffalo burgers, all kinds of great food, and a super nice staff at Steve-O's in Hayburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street on the square in Rupert. Oh my, great big fresh salad bar. And they've got all the soups and the salads and the subs and delicious pizza. Don't forget to run over there and enjoy lunch Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And boy, am I ever. Right now, we're going to take a little break. Send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. And coming up next hour, Cassia County School Days, our business salute. And then at 10:30 this morning, we're hoping Sharon Hardy Mills can make it on the air. We're going to talk about food and water and having some extra at your home in case of emergencies. Stay tuned. I'll be back in about 7. And a good morning, good morning, good morning. Smoke heavy out there. Be careful, please. If you don't have to be out in the smoke and you have any kind of lung or breathing problems, please be careful. It's not good. It's not good. Hey, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Big fall tire sale going on right now at all 7 locations. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. I have said this for quite a few days now, and I want to reiterate because it may be the last time I get a chance to tell you before it occurs, and that's, of course, Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch going to have their big annual production sale this Saturday. It's the 29th annual production sale, and get a catalog and absolutely go through it. I mean, I'm looking at some really nice colts and fillies and mares. Oh, my goodness. This is a sale you do not want to miss. If you like horses and you're in the horse business, they have the great minds, confirmation, and an abundance of color. The Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch annual production sale. Preview at 10 this Saturday, sale at 11, up at the ranch, 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley. I urge you to get up there and enjoy a great quarter horse sale. One of the best in the Northwest. For any information you might need, you call my buddy Jerry at 670-3833. Jerry Zollinger. Great big production sale coming up this Saturday in Oakley at the ranch. Don't you miss it. Also want to remind you about, when you have animals, you got to have somebody that's going to take care of your animals. You want to have certainty that they're getting the best of care and the best of veterinary care, and that's why I always tell you about Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near the Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. Now, write this number down, 678 1177 678-1177. They are a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small. They love them all and can take care of them all. So please, Dr. Bill and the rest of the crew over there at Ark Animal Hospital, they want you to have healthy animals. Call them 678-1177. Ark Animal Hospital, they do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Every Thursday on this program, I am very fortunate to have a segment called School Days in Cassia County. And the wonderful Debbie Critchfield, Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, has lined up all the different segments, all the different guests for this program. And we are very fortunate to have two wonderful businesses as our sponsor. And they are A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And they've got all the new fall dresses over there. And they got all the games and the books and the puzzles and all the baby furniture and clothing. It's all there. All there at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, along with our other sponsor, and that's Ambulatory Surgery Center. And they're located at 1344 Highland Avenue, Suite E in Burley. And the number to call and find out more information on money-saving, life-saving colonoscopies or carpal tunnel hand surgery and so much more, 677-8888. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center and A Child's World, bringing you School Days in Cassia County. Right now, our guest for the program this morning is Rachel Jensen, and she is a counselor at Raft River High School. Deanne, write it down. And she's on the line?
She should be calling.
All right, she should be calling in right now. Wheels, is she ready to go?
Yes, sir. I just plugged her through.
All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Jensen, counselor at Raft River High School. Good morning, Rachel. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Well, we've got a lot on our plate here at the radio station, and you know as well as I do that one of the big things on our plate is helping our friends down in Texas after Hurricane Harvey. And I understand that you've got a little bit of a relief effort to help some of those folks. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, we are giving this our best effort, just even in our tiny little community. We thought anything that we can give would sure, make it a good. We would help other people out, and we're just really excited about it. But what we have going on is we're participating in a program called Project HATS. HATS stands for Help a Texas School, and we've sent out a list from the Red Cross that are things that we can help gather, and then we're going to send down to Texas probably this Saturday on a semi that's coming out of Tree Mountain. The the King family farm down there is sending a semi. They've donated the time and money to get that semi down there, and there's local schools in Tremont and then Garland and clear up here into Malta that the students and families are gathering things to send down to those schools particularly, and then families also who are being displaced and, just don't have anything anymore. So it's a really exciting thing for our school and for our students, particularly because we have recently been affected by floods ourselves, not near to the point, that they're experiencing down in Texas, but it's a familiar feeling, I think, for the students here, and I think it's a really positive thing for them to be trying to reciprocate some of the kindness and generosity that people showed us, and send that down to Texas. So,
I want to comment and compliment you on what you're doing. Now, what about quarterbacking this? What about the person that's in charge? Is it you? Are the kids taking the bull by the horn, so to speak, and doing a lot of this themselves? Who really promoted the organization as to what's needed and how to get it all gathered up?
I have to totally give the credit down to the school district in Tremont that Boxelder School District started the whole plan, and I, caught wind of it and talked to both of my principals, who really have been the ones that hit the go button on this, and said, yes, we want to do this in our schools. We have Bonnie Tracy is a home ec teacher that is with the 8th grade here, and she has had her students gathering the supplies and boxing them up, and her class has been a big part of getting everything put away and stored, because they have to be sent down in boxes that are labeled food or school supplies, or other. And so when all the boxes get down there, they know, where to put things, and it's not quite so overwhelming for the people. But I would definitely say my principals are a big part of it, and the students in the 8th grade home ec class are, taking this and moving with it, helping move the donations and getting them boxed up. So, yeah, I would say the kids, very much the kids, but with the support of the administration, it wouldn't have even started. So.
Rachel, I'm sitting here thinking about the logistics of this. I mean, all the school supplies, whether it's the crayons or whether it's the notebooks or whether it's other items like hand soap, toilet paper, blankets, etc. Holy cow. I mean, the logistics of getting it there to Texas and then getting it out to the various people, families, etc. This takes a lot of coordination. How is this all going to get done?
A lot of credit has to go to the King Family Farms. They have people from the community and schools who are donating their time, and when all the donations come in, they've requested that they be labeled in boxes, so they can just be moving boxes rather than sorting supplies.
Right.
But they are putting 25 pallets together in categories of what they are, and the manpower is just coming together just because of generosity. Now, also know that that community down there in Garland and Tremont area was very much affected by the flooding, this past spring also. And I think that they are feeling the same type of thing that we are here in Malta, wanting to help others. We will never experience it on this level, but, flooding is something that, kids are really remembering how cold they were and wet, and they were wanting to do good things, but, they remember how that feels, and they're sending socks and shoes and things down there because they, know how it is to help people when it's wet and your feet are soggy and you're hungry and cold. And I think just parents and families and kids, just entire communities are coming together and wanting to send things down. And, I don't know that I think it's the King Family Farms. I mean, they are the ones that are the instigator of, if it wasn't for their generosity and sending the semi down, nothing would be coming together at all.
I see. Now, is there a need to mention to my audience any items that you need over there to gather up at Raft River High School? How can I help solicit some of these items?
Oh, I can send you the list that we have sent out to all of our families and our students. We've sent it home. We have boxes, these big totes that are at the main office of the elementary school and the high school, and then the district office in Burley also has space, available for people to bring lots of different items. We're not so much gathering clothes, and if it's food, it has to be ready-to-eat food. So, not so much things like soup and that, but they're looking for, your standard school supplies, because entire schools have just been totally demolished. I mean, the flood's coming up from the bottom, and then the rain's coming from the top. The roofs have caved in. They have absolutely nothing now. So any school supplies that are new would be completely welcome. And then on the same list that I will email you, we'll have some of the other emergency items that you would expect. Cleaning supplies, blankets. Let's see, they are asking for baggies, like gallon baggies, shampoo, hygiene products, things to help people like that. But I think they had clothing on their list originally, and they've taken that off because they've received such a positive response from that. I think they're doing, very well with that regard.
Let me ask you this, as far as, Rachel, where do they take the items? How do they get the items to you, a centralized source, so they can be loaded on the truck? Is it over at Raft River High School, or where else?
Yeah, right. I'm so sorry. Raft River High School has a donation, several donation bins, and so does Raft River Elementary School. And we will be receiving donations up until Friday afternoon. Then several trucks, or depending on how much we have, we will take the donations down Friday evening to Tremont, and then all those things will be loaded on the semi.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, and this is kind of deviating away from a little bit of the asking for these donations, but I can't imagine the absolute mess that the Texas school systems are in right now, because you're looking at going back to school, a new school year, I mean, the coordinated effort of the different grades, etc. How in the world are they going to overcome this just trying to get the kids back into school?
That's a very good question, and I wondered that myself. And so I was talking with a friend of mine last year who has just last night, that has family down there, and they're, like I said, the schools have been completely wiped out, and so the schools have relocated themselves in wings of other schools. For example, an elementary school might now be, in an extra area, which schools don't usually have extra areas, but they have to just make room for these kids. And so they've, set up in, a gym of a high school or something, and several of them have had to just cancel school for several months until they can get back on their feet. But yes, very much so. I mean, going into a new year and then having no building has, just changed the whole rhythm of the school year. And, I can't even imagine how they are trying to just tread water literally down there and get, students education-wise, moving forward when, many of them in their homes are also living in gyms and centers from, the Red Cross. Also, another thing that I didn't mention is, I'll send you a link to this. The Red Cross has set up a Adopt a School program, and that's kind of how this has started. The Texas Teachers Association has created this program where other schools can adopt each other, and then they can be paired up, and then, later on here, probably in the next month or so, they will send specific information on the exact supplies, books, things that they're going to be needing to reset up their school. And schools or community organizations, whichever, can adopt a school down there. And then their efforts can be a little bit more focused on specific needs, specific schools, and, how they can help a little more. So.
Let me ask you this, Rachel, before I run out of time here this morning. I'm sure that after listening to this segment, and you were very eloquent about talking about this Project HATS, helping a Texas school, what about a number? Can they call you, or who can they call for more information on what's needed and the time deadlines?
Oh, yeah, they can give me a call. That'd be fine. Do you want me to email you my cell phone number? I would be happy to, send that out to families and people that are wanting to lend a hand, because I'm the one that is moving all of the stuff down to Tremont and coordinating, on that end as far as getting donations from this community down to where the semi is.
Why don't you give us that number right now on the air, because I think it's very imperative that people are aware of it.
Okay, so my phone number is area code 435-659-4078. So again, 435-659-4078. And feel free to text me or call me. Know that I do work at a school, so sometimes I, will probably not be able to answer, but, I'll do my best to answer messages and to reply as quickly as I can. But know that, there are 3 different drop-off locations, the district office, Cassia County School District office in Burley, and then both of the high schools here. And then I will also email you the list of things that they're requesting. So,
we
would love, anybody who's feeling generous and able to send the things on the list. We would just love, the more help, the merrier.
No, I tell you what, Rachel, I salute what you're doing along with the kids, Raft River High School and the school system over at Raft River. I think it's a very, very commendable situation of help. And, I'm sitting here looking at this situation. I've got a minute left on this segment. And this situation down in Texas, and I hope it doesn't exacerbate itself over to Florida with Hurricane Irma, but this is going to be a long-term problem. It's not going to be settled right overnight.
It is, and I think that is the focus of the Texas Teachers Association, is they're aware that, they are going to be rebuilding schools and communities, and although our efforts to send supplies down and, some relief aid their way, realistically, that's not even going to be a drop in the bucket compared to what they're going to be needing.
Yeah.
And also considering that our nation is going to also be sending aid down to Florida and the people, down that direction that are going to be needing assistance as well. There's going to be, some very, very large-scale needs, and it's going to take a long time to recover from this. And I think that, anybody who feels like they would be able to participate in Adopt a School through the Texas Teachers Association, I think would be a good direction, because, as they start to rebuild and regrow, then they will have a better idea of what the needs might be.
Absolutely. I really thank you, Rachel Jensen, counselor at Raft River High School, for coming on and talking about Project HATS, helping a Texas school. God bless you and all the students and everybody for all your efforts. Thank you very much for being on the program.
Thank you, Zeb. It's been a great opportunity to let people know about this.
All right.
Have a great day.
God's blessings. Thank you very much. Wow. I mean, I get really emotional and almost teary-eyed thinking about all the great people and all the assistance that's headed south to Texas to help those folks. And it's not going to be ending overnight. This is a long-term problem. I appreciate Rachel Jensen being on the program this morning. Cassia County School Day is brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and our friends at Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, 677-8888. Right now, it is time to run to the telephone, and we're going to have our business salute for the week. And with everything else going on, I think we have from Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center. Amy, are you on the phone and ready to go?
I am.
Oh, my goodness. Good morning. How are you today? And any big news coming from Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center? You are ready to go.
I am. I'm ready to go. And we have news. So starting on Sunday, September 10th, we will be celebrating National Assisted Living Week. It's a week-long celebration, and Autumn Haven Assisted Living joins in with, tens of thousands of other assisted living communities across the country in honoring this great week that we have coming up.
Do we as a nation, are we doing all we can to be more aware and help our seniors make sure that they're taken care of?
We are. In 1995, the National Center for Assisted Living actually created National Assisted Living Week. And the purpose in that was designed to help people understand the role that assisted livings play in caring for America's seniors and individuals with disabilities. And it's also an opportunity for assisted livings to help educate members of the public about this really distinct aspect of long-term care.
Let me ask you this question. How do people know what would be the best facility for their senior and their family, or those that need just a little extra help? How do they know?
One of the best things to do is actually to go to the facility and visit them, because each assisted living facility offers unique services and staff differently and are licensed to take care of individuals with certain disabilities if they have any. For example, my facility, Autumn Haven, we are licensed to take care of the elderly, and we also do some dementia and Alzheimer's care. And that's what we are licensed for.
And, you know, people that might need just that little extra help and they're living at home alone and they need somebody to kind of look in on them and take care of them. Wheels, watch the gain over there. We're getting a lot of feedback on this call. And that's what exactly your assisted living center is at Autumn Haven, is it not?
That is correct.
Now, what about the hours? When can people try to come by and maybe tour the facility?
You know, any time is good. I know when people need to come in when they get off of work or on a weekend. Of course, we are open 24/7, so I encourage the public to come in at any time. My staff is trained to take good messages, and they always let me know if somebody has come in and they need some questions answered or they need a phone call or they'd like to sit down and visit with me. But we are, like I said, we encourage anybody to come into our facility to come take a tour, come see what it's like, and sit down with me and talk about the needs that they need that are that what they're looking for.
Absolutely. Now, one-on-one care, and you also want to make sure that the members that stay over there at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, they're really involved in the community with different events too, aren't they?
Yes, we are. So part of this week that I said we had coming up, so we have National Assisted Living Week, and the theme this year is Family is Forever. And so this week coming up, we've got some activities that are planned for our residents. And not only do we honor the residents this week coming up, but we also honor the staff. You know, our staff are a huge part in making what Autumn Haven is as it is today. I love to celebrate. My staff is amazing. It takes really special people to do this work, and our caregivers constantly go above and beyond the call of duty. We really are just one big family working together to ensure, the best care for our residents.
You know, I can tell with the enthusiasm in your voice, you really like what you do.
I do. I wouldn't be, doing what I do if I didn't love it. I'm very passionate about geriatric care. I love assisted living. I think it is just a wonderful institution, and I love this year's theme, Family is Forever. And the theme is actually inspired by this great quote, and it's, family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs.
Oh,
the ones who accept you for who you are, the ones who would do anything to see you smile, and who love you no matter what.
I like that. We're talking to Amy over at Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert. The number to call, 436-3200. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Would you agree with that, Amy?
Absolutely.
God bless. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for being on our Business Salute this morning. Thank you much.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much. Amy over to Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center in Rupert. Right now, we're about ready to send it back over to Wheels momentarily. I want to remind you, next Thursday, we will be on the air broadcasting live and direct from Ramsey Heating and Electric, and that's on the 14th, celebrating Hats Off to Farmers and Patriots Week. George Mass is going to be there cooking breakfast early in the morning at 7 a.m., and we're going to have biscuits and gravy, and the proceeds from that breakfast go to the Zeb's Christmas Corral to help some needy families at Christmas time. Don't forget, that's next Thursday at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Wheels, take it away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, my goodness, a busy, busy morning this morning right here on Zeb at the Ranch. And I'm going to check with Wheels. Did Sharon Hardy Mills make it over to the studio, Wheels?
Yes, sir, she did. She's in the other room right now as we speak.
And you're going to tell me that the microphone's going to work too, isn't it?
The microphone is going to work.
Aren't you tickled?
I am. I can bet you 100% that the microphone is going to work.
The reason I wanted Sharon Hardy Mills to come on the program this morning is that I've learned and gained a lot of respect for her in preparation for emergencies that might come up and what we need to know, what we need to do, what we need to have. Sharon, good morning. It's good to have you on the program.
Good morning. It's great to be on.
And go ahead. I'm going to ask Wheels maybe to turn you up just a little bit, if you would.
All right, there we go.
There you go. Yes, ma'am. You know, Sharon, I wanted to have you on the air this morning because, quite frankly, I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about home preparedness when we, of course, heard about the devastation and the flooding going on down in Texas. Many of my friends are suffering. Many of my friends have lost their property, etc. But, you know, that maybe in a different form could happen here. And what do people need to know to be really kind of self-sufficient and self-reliant in the case of an emergency?
You know, and we've seen that flooding there. We're seeing the flooding happening in Florida. The fires that we're seeing in Oregon and Montana, and now the ones that have jumped the river and going into Washington. The earthquakes that we're seeing down around Soda Springs. All of those should be things that are telling us, yeah, need to get prepared, folks. And one of the first things you need to have is a 72-hour kit. A 72-hour kit can be in a bucket, a suitcase, whatever's easy, a backpack, whatever's easy for you to grab and go. Because I can tell you, and having watched the news and everybody's seeing this, it's taking at least a minimum of 3 days before help arrives.
Yeah. You know, when you say 72-hour kit, and I want you to elaborate what should be in that kit, but I would dare say, and I think you'll agree with me on this, is that the people down in the greater Houston area, had they been prepared, like you just said with the 72-hour kit, it might have been a lot easier transformation to go to shelters, etc., in the hubbub of trying to get out of the water, right?
Exactly. It's something you want to have to be able to grab and go. It needs to be generic, and by generic, I mean the foods that you put in it have got to be things that do not necessarily have to be cooked, that can be eaten right straight from the can or container, and like energy bars, a can of tuna fish. You can eat that right from the container. That may not be your first choice, but I tell you what, in an emergency, that'll taste mighty good.
Absolutely.
Spam or Vienna sausages, any of your canned meats, because they're already totally cooked, and that's your protein. You're going to need that for your energy.
Absolutely.
Canned fruits, to give you a little bit of sugar, your canned fruits, and to fill the body so that it feels like you've had something to eat. Energy bars, nuts are a good thing. Chocolate, if you're not where it's really super hot and it melts, because sometimes you just need to have that reassurance, that calming, that endorphins released through that chocolate that we all crave.
Yeah.
Hard candies are a good thing to have because it keeps the mouth busy and it keeps your body satisfied. It may not provide enough energy for you to last very long, but it will satisfy you for a short term. And sometimes that's all you need to have is that short-term satisfaction to keep going.
Well, you know, I was going to also ask you, you can make these backpacks or 72-hour kits, like you said, maybe with too much, and you've got to discern as to what you need in there. One of the things that I wanted to throw in, because I was talking to a gentleman down in Austin, Texas, last week, and it was his son and family that really lost everything. One of the big things that he mentioned that people are not aware of or think about is their medicines.
Exactly.
They lost everything in the house. They lost all their medicines. They lost all the prescriptions. And they said right now they can't even hardly get out of the shelters because of the roads underwater, et cetera, to get more medicine. What about that?
Yeah, you need to make sure that, and I know that it's difficult with the way the rules and the laws and insurance companies and all of that are set up, but you can go to your doctor and say, I need to have at least 3 days that I can have put into my bucket. And you need to alternate that and rotate that. One of the good measures for rotating is every time we have a time change, daylight savings changes in October, change it out at least once a year, preferably every 6 months, but minimum of once a year. You have make sure you have prescriptions for 3 days minimum, and have a list, a current list of what you normally take in that 72-hour kit. And in that 72-hour kit, besides the fact that it's generic for your needs as far as food, you're not going to get 3 meals a day. If you put in 2 meals a day and for 3 days, you're going to have a lot of stuff in that pack.
Yeah.
You may only have enough room in there to put in enough for 1 meal a day. You can survive on 1 meal a day, but you cannot survive with no food.
Right.
And make sure you have water in there also, and preferably in containers that are not breakable.
Now, Sharon, I'm going to revert back to my old memory, and you laugh at me sometimes for my memory lapses, but I remember a program that you did with me quite some time ago about this same subject, and you said in regards to clothing, don't worry about all the Wranglers, don't worry about all the dress shirts, but take like sweat clothes because they're looser and what else?
They're generic. And the fact that you may not be the same size you were when you put them in there originally, and your sweatpants and sweatshirts are more flexible. Also, if you have to hand those off to someone else, most likely it will fit them and meet their needs. On your socks, make sure you have tube socks. And the reason for tube socks is those one size fits most.
Yeah.
And you want to have something dry to change into or pass on to someone else that's in need. If it's in the summertime, you can always cut them off, but in the wintertime, you cannot add to them. So make sure you've got sweats in there.
Okay, now what about the shoes, especially like if it's in the winter? I mean, there's something to worry about there.
Yeah, there is. Most of the time, tennis shoes are your best bet no matter what, because if they get wet, they can be dried out. You're not going to have the problem with shrinkage. You will have some traction with them, where leather shoes you will not. And tennis shoes are more forgiving as far as sizes are concerned than your dress shoes or boots. And boots take up a lot of space, and you're not going to have a lot of space in your 72-hour kit. If you have to evacuate, you're oftentimes not going to have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have the space. And if there's more than one person that needs to ride with you in your vehicle, more than one family, and you got to jam them all in there, you've got to be able to have what fits in that 72-hour kit.
You know, where do you draw the line as to what is necessary to take and what isn't? I mean, a lot of people, they say, well, I got to get out of here. Well, I got to take this. I got to take that. And pretty soon they've got not only one suitcase and a duffel bag filled, they got the whole car filled up.
Well, and not only that, but they've wasted a lot of time and left what they probably should have taken. And they've also put themselves in danger and put the rescuers in danger because they didn't get out quick enough. And so what you need to have in your 72-hour kit is a copy of your documents and have them in a Ziploc bag and down in there so that it's waterproofed, and so you have those records. You don't necessarily have to have your originals, but at least have copies of those documents. And any prescription that you take, allergies especially, have those listed and have those so that they come up first when somebody pulls your bag out and looks at it and say, oh, this person's allergic to penicillin, you better not give them that, or whatever.
Yeah.
And have that on that list, because if something happens to you and you are injured and you cannot communicate for whatever reason, but you have that container with you and they can pull that out and look at it, they have your information.
You know, one of the things I was concerned about with this 72-hour kit and being in preparation, a lot of people say, well, the floods are down in Houston, Texas. Oh, the hurricanes are over in Florida. They overlooked the fact that just recently we had over 5 earthquakes right here in the state of Idaho that could cause a comparable situation.
Exactly. Well, and look at the fires that we've got going. All the people that had to be evacuated there along the Columbia Gorge that did not anticipate something happening and happening as quickly as it did. Those can happen. They've got campers that are up there camping, and all of a sudden they're having to be evacuated and at a moment's notice and go a different direction than what they anticipated. And, you know, things happen. But if you're prepared, it's not quite as stressful. You're going to have stress no matter what. There is no way around that. But if you've got some preparations made, then that makes it easier for you and easier for whoever you are sitting next to help keep them calm and have presence of mind to make wise choices and decisions.
Okay, now I've got a question that you might scoff at, but I think it's a legitimate question. You run out the house. You grab that 72-hour kit. You put the kids in the car. You turn the key on and you go, uh-oh, where am I going to go?
Yeah, and you need to have that planned out also. And more than one escape route or more than one place that you're going to go to. Because if in an emergency, you may have chosen to go over to Aunt Susie's house, but you know what? Aunt Susie's house is in the middle of a flood.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, you can't go there. So now you've got to go to the opposite direction and go over to Uncle Joe's place. Make sure that you have a contingency plan. Make sure family and people know where you're going if you have to leave your home, whether it be you leave a note magneted to the refrigerator or shoot with ketchup right on the ceiling. I don't know. Something to write, something to let it be known that where you have gone and that you are safe. Those are important to be known to other people. And don't count on your cell phones working because they will get jammed with so many people trying to communicate, or they can be damaged too.
Well, let me interrupt you there and ask a question about cell phones. Should you have in your 72-hour kit a charger for your cell phone just as an emergency, or is that just added weight that you don't need?
They're not that bulky, they're not that weight prohibitive, so I would.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
I mean, because you could get to an area and you could get cell service outside of your area, but you won't necessarily inside your area because it could all be jammed.
Well, I've got a break for a weather forecast, and I want to talk to you about another aspect of leaving your home and maybe going to a strange area and literally having to set up camp. I'll get back to that in just a minute. I've got to do a weather forecast. Our weather this hour brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don Scarrow and the whole crew at 324-7657, the number to call, or go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats. I mean, we're talking pastrami, salamis, bratwurst, breakfast sausages. Oh, I'm drooling all over the microphone. It's absolutely phenomenal. Scarrows Meats in Jerome. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
That air quality advisory still is in effect for today and probably through the beginning of next week as we still are having some wildfires in our area. So if you have upper respiratory issues, limit your outdoor time. Looking at mostly sunny skies for today, high of 91, tonight low of 58. Tomorrow, still going to be smoky, and we're going to throw in some slight chances of afternoon thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, high of 88 with an overnight low of 58. As we get on into the weekend, that smoke is going to continue. Add into the mix maybe some rain and some thunderstorms for Saturday with a high of 83. That's your weather for Zebeth Duran.
Thank you very much, Gina, and brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Oh, it is true. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. I'm on the air with a dear friend, Sharon Hardy Mills, and we're talking about basically protecting yourself and your family by being aware and being ready in case of an emergency. Sharon, I'm going to say this, and you can tell me nay or yay, whichever. We have talked about this in the past. One of the things that I think is overlooked is your family protection. And I'm talking about maybe a gun, a permatized gun, or whatever. I think that a lot of people, when they're put in a stressful situation, they may put themselves in a worse situation in an unknown area, and they don't have their own personal protection. Am I wrong?
I agree with you. And I have no problem with someone having the handgun with them. Most people are stable enough that that's not an issue. But I tell you what, if you get into a situation where you've got somebody who's a naysayer, who's very negative, you need to distance yourself from that individual or that group of people because that could be an indicator, a red flag of some problems.
Yeah. But there's so many things that I think people overlook. And after talking to this gentleman down in Austin about his son and his family, they were totally naive. And they lost everything. They didn't have any medication. They didn't have any clothing. They didn't have any food. They didn't have any of, like you said, the granola bars or anything else. And they were totally at the whim and the wisp of what happened with the problem. They had nothing more than what they did when they clambered onto the boats to try to take them to a shelter.
Exactly. And, you know, and when we can see that these storms are coming, you need to make preparations. And if you don't need it, wonderful. But if you do, you're ready. And another thing is we're coming into wintertime, and this is when I advocate that we keep our gas tanks at least half full.
Yes.
But, I'm thinking that needs to be rethought. We need to keep them at least half full all year round. I know that is not always easy. I know a budget constraint. I understand that. And sometimes there's more months than there is money. But you need to try very diligently to keep your gas tank at least half full all the time. How far can you drive on an empty tank?
Yeah.
You're going to have to stay put. Then what are you going to do? Are you going to become part of the problem, or are you going to make it so you can become part of the solution?
Well, let me ask you this then. Would there be an inference from you that maybe in the trunk of the car or somewhere in the under the seat in the pickup, etc., maybe a couple of extra bottles of water, a couple of extra flashlights, this type of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And this time of year, it's easy to get those glow sticks because they bring those out for Halloween.
Right.
Glow sticks are wonderful because you don't have to worry about a situation with explosions with that. If there happens to be a gas leak, the chemicals that we're finding floating in the water, those can be hazardous, could be flammable. But if you get the glow sticks, you don't have to worry about that. Make sure your batteries work on your flashlights. Have extra batteries. Don't count on rechargeables because where are you going to recharge it?
Well, let me interrupt you right there and ask a question, Sharon, regarding batteries. How trustworthy can a person be of batteries? Let's say you go buy a dozen batteries or whatever and you leave them in the back of your pickup. How long is the shelf life per se?
I think the heat and the cold does affect those batteries. And so I would not leave a lot of them out there in that situation because that extremes do affect them. But have some in your 72-hour kit so that you can replace them. Make sure they're the right size. Because if you need a size D and you've only got size D, or you need AA and you need AAA, what good does it do if you don't have the right size to match what the product is that you've got?
Okay, babies. We kind of skipped over this. I would imagine that's going to take a little extra planning for parents because of young babies.
Yep. Diapers are so difficult to have enough on hand. But you need to make sure that you do. And even if it's a nursing mom, make sure you have some powdered formula and water and bottles, because if something happens to mom and you've got that baby, you're going to need to take care of that baby.
Right.
And make sure there's at least 2 extra changes of clothes for that little one, and as many disposable diapers as you can, and garbage bags. You've got to have some place to put that debris. We don't want them just sit out there and thrown out on the water to float, or thrown out in the middle of the forest fire to add to the situation.
Right. What about in general, you've got kids, and, kids they've got an attention span that demands something new or something to do, something to play with. Is that a concern or not?
Yes. Make sure that in that 72-hour kit there is a deck of cards, some dice so you can play a game, coloring books or activity books, those little pads that have the mazes on them, and Scrabble or word games, and make sure you've got those in there with pencil coloring crayons. Make sure those are in there. And, that's not a bad idea for adults also, because sometimes if you're in a shelter situation and you've been in there for a couple of days, you're going to get bored. Everybody else is going to get bored. That's when trouble starts.
Well,
so have something to keep them busy.
I would imagine, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the expert on this, but I would imagine it would be worth the investment, and they're not that expensive today, to go get a little transistor radio and keep that in your kit, because how are you going to know when it's safe to come back or where to go?
Do they even make transistor radios anymore?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know if there is such a thing.
I know.
I don't know.
But don't you think that would be a good way to keep up on what's happening with the news reports, etc.?
Because we know that the radio stations have got their emergency broadcast system that they are required to maintain and have available, and hopefully that system would work clear across the area wherever there might be an issue.
Yeah.
But I do know that, for instance, in Oregon, up there where they've been having all the fires, I've gotten more reports and video and information than what my family has that lives within 25 miles of all of that. And so I've been putting it out to them. This is what I'm seeing. This is what we're seeing. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
And they have been surprised at some of the information that I have been able to get away from the area where they have not been able to get it where they're at.
One thing, and I'm almost out of time, but one thing I know I would have to put in my emergency kit, because I can't read or see anything if I don't have my reading glasses, an extra pair of glasses.
Exactly, an extra pair of glasses. Those are definitely an issue that you might want to make sure you have. Another thing, and this is a little bit different, is that you need to understand the wildlife that's out there are affected by all of these things also. In Oregon and Washington and Montana, the wildlife that's coming out of the woods to get away from the fires.
Yeah.
People are dealing with mountain lions and bobcats and all kinds of things. Down in Texas, they're dealing with alligators, wild boars. Be aware that you're not the only one being affected.
We have a quick call, and it's got to be quick because I've got a commercial to do. Caller, I'm going to give you 30 seconds at the most. Go ahead.
Okay, Sharon, hi.
Hi.
The one thing about taking an extra radio, I think it is important to get the transistor-type radio that you can fine-tune. These things, you push a button, and it comes on the station. You're not always going to get a good signal.
All right, caller, thank you very much. Sharon, go ahead.
Yeah, if you can find the radios, that's a good idea. Make sure you have batteries to match to go in there with them. Good idea.
And let me say how much I appreciate, this is a dear friend of mine, Sharon Hardy Mills. And Sharon, I'm sorry, I'm just flat out of time. I could have talked to you for another half hour on this subject. But would you come back and do a semblance of this again?
Sure.
I really appreciate it. Sharon Hardy Mills, God bless you. And you recently had a birthday. I mentioned it on my program, and I'll say it again. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm officially a senior citizen.
Don't rub it in. Anyway, thank you so much. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a great big fall tire sale going on right now. Passenger car tires, pickup and SUV tires. They've got the tires you need for the type of driving that you have every month. You be sure and stop in and check it out. Great buys at the fall tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, where doing the right thing matters. And they do. They also have the best in brake service and front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. But above all, I want to stress that they really serve you. They care about you and your safe driving. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run. The week's over. Wheels, great job, buddy. Have a good weekend. We'll see you back here next Monday at 8:06 on Zebeth Ranch, where we always say the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you Monday.